Welcome students. Today we are going to learn a poem, The Try Anti One Tea Gone Gallop.
Here are some insects like butterfly, fly, ant, and spider. In this poem, we are going to learn about a funny insect that is Triantivontygongolop. Now, I will read and explain you the poem. There is a very funny insect that you do not often spy, and it isn't quite a spider and it isn't quite a fly. It is something like a beetle and a little like a bee, but nothing like a woolly grub that climbs upon a tree. Its name is quite a hard one, but you will learn it soon. I hope. So try anti-wanty gongolo. Here in this stanza, the poet is in a very imaginative mood. He talks about an imaginary insect which he calls the Triantivontygongolo gongolo. He says that this is a very funny insect that you do not often see. It is neither like a spider nor like a fly, but it's something like a beetle and a little like a bee. It is not like the woolly little fat worm that climbs upon a tree. He says its name, the Triantivontygongolo, is quite hard to pronounce, but he hopes the reader will soon learn it. It lives on weeds and wattle gum and has a funny face. Its appetite is hearty and its manners a disgrace. When first you come upon it, it will give you quite a scare. But when you look for it again, you find it isn't there. And unless you call it softly, it will stay away and mop. So try anti-wanty gongolop. In the second stanza, the poet says that this insect lives on weeds and the gum from certain trees. It has a funny face, its appetite is large, and its manners are quite disgraceful. It gives one a quite scare when one first comes across it, but when you look for it again, you find it isn't there, and you must call it softly, or it will stay away feeling very sorry for itself. The poet once again asks us to try and pronounce this insect's name, that is Triantivontygongolop. It trembles if you tickle it or tread upon its toes. It is not an early riser, but it has a snubbish nose. If you sneer at it or scold it, it will scuttle off in shame. But it purrs and purrs quite proudly if you call it by its name and offer it some sandwiches of sealing wax and soap. So try anti-wanty gongolop. In this stanza, the poet tells us something more about this insect. It trembles if you tickle it or step upon its toes. It is not an early riser. It has a fat nose turned up at the end. If you give it an unpleasant look or scold it, it will run away in shame with quick, short steps, but it purrs quite proudly if you call it by its name and offer it some sandwiches of sealing wax. And so try, says the poet again to pronounce its name, that is Triantivontygongolop. But of course, you haven't seen it, and I truthfully confess that I haven't seen it either, and I don't know its address, for there isn't such an insect, though there really might have been if the trees and grass were purple and the sky was bottle green. It's just a little joke of mine, which you will forgive, I hope. Oh, try anti-wanty gondola. In this last stanza, the poet finally gives out
his secret truthfully. He says that the reader may not have seen this insect, neither has he, the poet, nor does he know where it lives. He says that there isn't such an insect, but there might have been one, provided that the trees and the grass were purple and the sky was bottle green. He says that it was just a joke, and he asks the reader to forgive him, but at the end he once again asks the reader to pronounce the name, that is Tri-Anti-Vonti-Gongolov.
Now we will see the meanings. Spy, sea, beetle, an insect often large and black with a hard case on its back and wings above. Grub, the young form of an insect that looks like a small fat worm. Wattle gum, gum obtained from a tree in the form of reddish tears or lumps. Appetite, desire for food. Hearty, large. Maw, spend your time doing nothing and feeling very sorry for yourself. Snubbish, for a nose short, fat, and turn up at the end. Sneer, an unpleasant look or smile. Scuttle, to run with quick short steps. Thank you.